Criminals beware, the Royal Bahamas Police Force operations yielding significant results. And later on in sports, a Bahamian basketball icon laid to rest yesterday. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Candino Knowles, and welcome to the weekend edition of The Bahamas Tonight. Well, 4 police operations over the past week have yielded huge results for the Royal Bahamas Police Force. A number of persons have been arrested by officers of the Central, North, and Southeastern Divisions for dangerous drugs, illegal firearms, and stolen items. In one such operation, some 76 drivers were cited for various traffic infractions. It's the goal of every division in New Providence to comb every neighborhood in attempts to stamp out crime. And these operations were designed to allow for heavy patrols in certain areas to do just that. And it's said to be truly working. According to Police Press Liaison Superintendent Stephen Dean, these operations are just one element of the police's crime-fighting plan.
Persons who have dodged our radar. We're able to go to that house with a fella, the drug peddler, is selling drugs. We're able to go to that place where the fella is also selling 30 days, as the case may be. We might find a number of things are happening, particularly in these areas, that the police normally might miss in some cases. But I'm telling you, the operation is successful. The police on the ground, we have, in some cases, the criminals are running, moving from spot to spot, making a lot of mistakes, and that's why we were able to catch up with them.
And you've heard it before, police cannot fight crime alone. Vital information from the public is essential to every single case under investigation. And although Superintendent Dean touted the effectiveness of public assistance, he maintains there has been some resistance.
As we continue daily with our community walkabouts, our door-to-door, we are opening the doors for people to feel comfortable with what happened. We have an aggressive and ambitious community policing based product through the urban renewal, and those officers are constantly out there connecting with the community, building relationship, and we are seeing some good results as a result of this. If you feel hesitant, find a trusted police officer. Look for that divisional commander in your area that you can call him or her. You don't have to give your name. You can call the police emergency. You can call Crime Stoppers. We are asked you. We have to save our country, but the police cannot do it alone. We need the help. The police are the public, and the public are the police.
Well, those operations continue to saturate New Providence as Central Division officers conducted Operation Cleanup yesterday to send a clear message to criminals that they will be proactively identified, thoroughly investigated, swiftly prosecuted, and brought to justice. The aggressive police operation resulted in a number of persons and vehicles being searched on suspicion of dangerous drugs and firearms, the arrest of a 26-year-old man for possession of dangerous drugs, and the closure of a business operating without a license, and possession of a quantity of cash suspected to be the proceeds of crime. Additionally, a 26-year-old female was arrested for obscene language and disorderly behavior. And still talking crime, Grand Bahama residents will get another opportunity this week to submit suggestions to the government on ways to fight crime. The Ministry of National Security will hold its second crime forum dubbed Operation Ceasefire this Thursday at Christ the King Auditorium starting at 7:30 p.m. National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage recently outlined to ZNS News how the fear of crime and its response has impacted Bahamians nationwide.
We have a crime problem that from time to time there are exacerbations. And whenever there's an exacerbating period, there's a lot of talk. For example, when we had the 12-hour shift and everything was good, the Bahamian people were so happy. They sent me emails, they said thanks, they spoke positively about it. Well, you remember, when we did that, it came out of the fact that we'd had a number of murders the week before, okay? And when they were putting hell on us. And so when we came out of the 12-hour shift, toward the end of December, we had this abominable spurt of murders. And so I think people have every right to feel concerned about it. But if you look at the pattern over the years, it tells you a different story. And I would like to leave it at that.
Well, the Defense Force is about to add close to 200 new officers to its ranks this year. This as immigration officials battled with a surge of Haitian migrants in the last quarter of 2013. Commodore Roderick Bowe tells ZNS News that besides the spike in illegals entering our borders, the added manpower comes as the force's attrition rate is increasing.
We're looking at between now and June of bringing in 160 persons. As I speak, in about 2 weeks' time, we will have 80 new recruits, 70 males and 10 females joining the force. And about 4 months later, after that, we will have an opportunity to bring in another 80. So that will total, before the fiscal year ends, 160. The attrition rate for us has been growing because we are aging as a force, and there's mandatory retirements, and those persons at 55 have to go, and so we're seeing that taking place.
Well, the Defense Force is currently operating with 1,220 officers, but Commodore Bowe believes the force could use about 500 more recruits in order to more effectively man the country's borders.
The roles that we do is dynamic, and to put a number on it right now would, I would say we would be quite happy with 1,700, right? And the government has given us approval over the next few years to recruit those numbers, and so training will continue, and we're hopeful that we will have that, because other bases will be added. We'll add another base in Grand Bahama. We put a proper base in Abaco, and then Ragged Island, Gunpoint. So we'll need manpower for those places as well, and the one in Inagua is expanding also.
The country's economic forecast is expected to be outlined in detail tomorrow at the 23rd Annual Bahamas Business Outlook. Prime Minister Perry Christie is among those expected to deliver addresses, and besides the Prime Minister, there's an array of speakers also slated to speak. One of them is the managing partner at Ernst & Young, Michelle Thompson, who will focus on emerging markets keen to the country's economic development.
Brazil, for example, being one of them. Colombia, we talked about Colombia. Now, the interesting about Colombia is that, they've recently blacklisted the Bahamas in Colombia. But once again, it's almost falling in line with everything that's been looked at globally from a transparency perspective, and the right to be able to share and exchange information with that country is something that they think is sovereign to them.
And then there's VAT. It's the focus of this year's Bahamas Business Outlook as the government plans to implement value-added tax this summer. Now, Ms. Thompson noted that tax reform is not just unique to the Bahamas.
Bahamas has chosen VAT as an avenue to address all of our issues currently, and I trust that the government is looking at it very carefully from a financial services perspective. I think it's absolutely critical that we get that formula, whatever it is, right, because it will certainly come to play and bear on the growth of the financial services industry in the Bahamas.
Well, still to come in the weekend edition, hear how the newest resort on Cable Beach has made a name for itself. Details after the break.